Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
little bit in there, but it's a different thing. This is more for entertainment, not for
Yeah.
punishment. Well,
It's like, this is from my dad. It's like, wait, are you okay? Oh no, no, not. Damn it. From wrestling, not wrestling at a place.
right,
Entertainment, not from home.
right, right. Now, was it one of those things that when you told him you want to do it, was he all right, let's go do this, or did he try to talk you out of it because of his experience?
Nah, my dad was fully supportive and all in with me doing it. And my first match was against him.
Hmm.
My first main championship gold, by myself because I did win the H2O Tag Team Champions with my partner Austin Luke.
Hmm.
But my first singles championship, he was involved in the match. He was the champion. I pinned someone else, but since it was a 3-way, excuse me, and he got to be there for that too.
That's awesome.
It is.
Was
It's
it
really cool,
so?
but
Was it nerve-wracking going against him in your match?
it is. It's a lot different, because of course, obviously, I want have bangers all the time, and with my dad, it's like we're both like we want to do this, we want to do this, because we're like the same person calling a match, and it's like this is weird now.
Well, I can just imagine, like, okay, if you, let's say you're wrestling like one of your friends that you went to training with, right? You can
Hmm.
be like, okay, I can take some liberties here, and it's just like I can't take liberties against my dad. He's gonna make me pay for it right then and there,
He's
kind of
like
thing.
one day he was like, "You hit me really." He's like the only one who complained about me like really hitting him, and I was like, "I think that was just the one day I was really hitting you pretty hard." I'm like, I don't know why.
Right, right. That's what I mean. Like, I think I've heard other people in wrestling call it like potato. Like, if you potato someone by accident, and he just grabs you in the head, like, all right, do that again. I'm gonna toss you as hard as I can, kind of thing.
It's like, oh wait, what? I'm sorry. All good.
Yeah,
Do it
yeah.
again later. My bad. Keep going.
Yeah, it's a different experience with your dad being a wrestler. Like, legitimately, my dad was not into it at all. And when I was like 12 or 13, getting into it, and I'm gonna date myself. This is when WCW was still around. Um, and my dad tried to convince me, hey, this is not real. If that's at that age, you believe it's real. He's like, no, it's not real. Well, why is it not real? Do you think they're gonna have people in boots just fight each other? I'm like, well, they're adults. I don't see why not. I don't get your point. Like,
Hmm.
So I'm in my 30s now, and he still rags on me for being a fan of it. So,
It's like, come on, it's
um,
cool. Look at this. Maybe,
well, yeah,
maybe not zombies. Maybe not the zombies part of it, but look at this cool stuff.
yeah, the zombies thing was stupid. I cannot defend that at all. And the timing of it. Okay, now this is gonna be me kind of complaining. The timing of it could not be any worse because WWE was noted for saying, oh, the fall from Jericho on AEW set the business back through 30 years. Okay, what does the whole zombies thing do? You know,
Yeah.
and I get it that they're trying to promote it for like Army of the Dead, but that was not the time to do it. You know,
It was weird. I don't know. It's a cool concept, I guess, but I don't know.
it
It's-
ruined it, and it ruined. They had Damian Priest on kind of a hot streak, and to me that
yeah,
kind of will slow him down.
I like him a lot.
Damian Priest,
I really like Damon and Bruce. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. The only thing, so this is one of the things I didn't get about the character. And you could correct me if I'm wrong because you probably paid more attention to NXT, but he didn't wear the Puerto Rican flag or anything like that on NXT, right? He was just,
What I what I remember, no, he
yeah,
was
yeah,
more like that goth, more goth and stuff like that. I would say to
mhm,
describe him.
right. And that's what my take of it was. But then they pair him up with Bad Bunny, which I get it. He's Puerto Rican, he can speak Spanish, and now he has like part of his gear has the Puerto Rican flag. It just seemed like it kind of came out of nowhere, and um I'm used to the Puerto Rican flag. My girl is Puerto Rican. Her family has like three of them in their house,
Hmm.
but it's one of those where it's just like it seems like a character change, and it's a really random character change for Damian Priest. And I don't know. I think honestly, if they didn't bring Bad Bunny into it, he probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. I haven't really noticed that, but like from you saying that, I see it now.
Yeah, well,
Definitely.
it was one of those where I'm like, he kind of had a character very similar to Aleister Black, where it's very dark
Yeah.
artsy. And then when he came out, he was either this past Monday or the Monday before. His gear had a tear in it, and it had the Puerto Rican flag there. And I go, well, that seems very out of place. So it caught my eye.
It's definitely cool if you want to add that, and but if
That element.
if you could see the gimmick, just the styles change more from that goth what he was, then yeah, that's when you'll notice. Yeah.
It just seems weird because there's no mentions of it prior to Bad Bunny. That's what really caught me off guard.
Mm.
There was really no, you know, because I honestly did not know he was Puerto Rican beforehand. So that tells you they barely ever talked about it, if at all,
Yeah.
prior to Bad Bunny being a part of it. And I know what WWE is going for. They always like to bring in celebrities into their into what they can to try and garner attention and whatnot. But yeah, any case, but nah, they ruined it with the zombies thing. It's just there's just different ways to do things like that. Um, now with other things going on, I know you mentioned school or anything. Do you have any other things you check out besides wrestling and whatnot? Like favorite TV shows, favorite music, things like that.
My favorite TV show is The Office.
Really?
Yes, yes, I love that show, and I actually discovered it during quarantine last year. My
Really?
friends
Okay.
told me to watch it for years, and I like always just said no. It's weird, it's stupid. Like I'm not wasting my time. But then when
Mhm.
I did have time, I was like, all right, let me see what the hype is, and I fell in love with it right away.
Have you watched the full series?
Yeah,
Okay. So, what would you say is your favorite character from the TV show?
I would definitely say Michael.
Michael Scott?
Yes,
Okay.
and
I was
it's
always
the whole thing. Out of the whole thing, Dwight, I guess, because he was been there since beginning through end.
right.
But like mainly, it definitely Michael.
Okay. I was a Jim fan. I was a fan of Jim. But I did like the dynamic between Jim and Dwight.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the many pranks that I appreciate was one where he did the Asian Jim, where they had his actor friend pretend to be him, and they cut off all the
Yes.
pictures with him in it and put the Asian guy in there and like tripped out Dwight.
Mhm.
I like that
Because
whole gimmick.
Pam comes over, kisses him, and
Yeah,
that's when he's like, "Wait, what's going on?"
right.
Yeah,
And,
that was good.
and the one where they're reading out the complaints from Dwight, and it says, "I don't know how, but Jim made me hit myself in the head with my phone." And he talked about how he put nickels in it to add weight to it, to where he picked it up and slammed it against his face.
That one's really man. I got to rewatch the show now. I remember
I
that. That was hilarious. And he picks it up and it zooms right to his head.
Yeah, yeah. And
Mhm.
The Office, I didn't check it out immediately when it was on. I kind of went back and watched the old episodes after a while, and I watched it all the way to the season finale. The hard part for me is I worked in an office when it became popular, and it's like, okay, I work with people like this, so I don't. I had a manager that was very much like Michael, like Stan and Kevin and all those. Yeah, I worked with people like that.
That's funny. Yeah.
So it was very, very odd for me. Is there any other shows you check out that you really, really are into?
Uh, Not really. I'm not too big on watching like shows and stuff like that. Like actually thinking about it now, like I have some like Outer Banks, Stranger Things. They're like exclusive to like Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
but I really like them. Uh, Simpsons, Beavis and Butthead, love them.
You're into some of the classics.
Oh yeah,
Some of the classics for sure. No one really mentions Beavis and Butthead nowadays.
I love Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, yeah, and I've always appreciated the shows that kind of push the envelope and things like that.
Hmm.
Um, so things like this is what I got into. What about music wise? What's your music choice?
Uh, my top. I'll just bring up top five.
Okay.
mostly I'm all over the place. So
Hmm.
I like rap, rock, all kinds. I'm all over. Not too big on country,
Hmm.
but there's a lot of country songs I do like.
Right.
But my top five, I would say, would be Post Malone,
Okay.
Juice World, Machine Gun Kelly, Skillet, and probably Metallica.
Okay.
I would say top
Okay.
five.
The I only know like two songs by Skillet. I don't know too much about Skillet. I only know I probably think maybe two songs by Post Malone. MGK. The only thing I know about MGK is Eminem destroyed him a couple years ago.
Yes, that's mostly where people know Machine Gun Kelly from.
He did a couple songs. I know he did a song for John Cena for one of the John Cena versus The Rock um, WrestleManias. I remember that from MGK, but mainly because Eminem destroyed him, and I grew up with Eminem, so I'm always gonna favor him. So Metallica, that's taking it back a bit. How did you get into Metallica?
I got into it because of my father. Because
Big Metallica
just
fan?
driving to shows, there's a lot of old songs that like I love, and it's because of driving to wrestling shows, and he's playing his playlist, his CDs, what songs he likes,
Hmm.
and just over the years, I've learned to like them, and hearing them over and over again, I started to know the words, and then now I'm able, I have my own playlists and all that stuff, and I added all those songs onto my playlists.
Do you have a favorite Metallica one?
I would probably turn the page.
Okay.
Really like that one.
It's good, and I don't know if you know the original because it's technically a cover. The way
Hmm.
that they influenced the saxophone into the guitar was unique at that moment.
Yeah,
Um, if you're still in high school, that song's older than you.
yeah,
Actually,
that's nuts.
it came out in '97, I think, '98, right around there. Yeah. Again, I'm gonna date myself. I remember that song coming out in the music video and everything. Now, the band itself predates me 100%, but Metallica is one of my all-time favorite bands. I could literally name a lot of the songs and albums that they came off of. So that's
Mhm.
how big of a fandom I have for it.
Metallica's
It
awesome.
now, if you were to make like a Mount Rushmore of wrestling, how would you shape that Mount Rushmore?
And my own custom one,
Yeah.
I would say uh, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Shawn Michaels, and man, I'm trying to think of that like last one. Maybe Edge would
Okay.
be my own personal one, but like out of like wrestling, in my opinion, would definitely be Hogan, Cena, Rock, and Austin. I think.
So yeah, I could see both sides. It's funny because you get different answers. You could tell where some of the influences come from and some of the answers that you get from people that we've asked this. Like I had someone that's like heavy promo guy, and a lot of his stuff that of people that he chose were very good promo guys. The Ric
Hmm.
Flairs, the Dusty Rhodes, the Rocks, and the Cenas, and things like that. It's very unique to hear different sides of it. Um, and then because of that, we kind of forked into a discussion about, the whole Rock versus Hogan. What, that technically at that point in time it should have been probably Austin versus Hogan, but going backwards is actually probably the best choice that they could have made because at that point you had the torch being passed from Rock to Cena, and now Cena could pass the same torch.
Hmm.
And I think it's probably going to happen, and it's probably going to be Drew and Cena, honestly.
Yeah, I think
Because
so.
I don't think Reigns belongs there. I think Reigns is better as a heel than he was as a face.
Yes, he's a good heel. I love what they're doing with Roman Reigns right now. I love it.
And that's all Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's in
Hmm.
almost complete control of that. And you could really tell it has Paul's fingerprints on it because who he's faced. He's faced Jey Uso. He's faced Kevin Owens. They did bring in Edge and Daniel Bryan, but I think that was more of a give to Vince McMahon than a Paul Heyman control. And